Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed, baby. Now, shoot, Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Golovkin, the trilogy. A lot of people were hyped to see that fight, right? I wasn't one of them, but I did check it out just now. And, decent fight, but I'm going to have to put it under the lackluster. Right, we're talking about the third fight between these guys. Could have been a little bit more action, but it was a little bit lackluster. But Canelo did win the fight. I think he definitely won the fight. I think Gennady Golovkin was not so active in the first 5 to 6 rounds. Tried to come on, right? But I think Canelo nipped that fight, no doubt about it, right? But for me, now they're even. I think Canelo got a win. I think Gennady got a win. And I think they had a draw. That's just me, man. I mean, I don't care what others are saying or whatever. I just think that Canelo Alvarez won this fight, and he didn't win the second fight just because he stood there. That was a draw, maybe. Even a lot of people could have Gennady Golovkin winning, but we're not going to just say a draw. But the first fight, there's no doubt about it, Gennady Golovkin won. About Gennady Golovkin's age, well, your age, you look how old. I don't think everybody could have made Gennady Golovkin look older, right? I think it's the respect for what's coming back with Canelo. I think were worried about if Canelo was going to be hitting him in the body. There's things that make you look old. Murata was hitting him, right? And then what did he do? He took them shots and he came on. Right, so you got to give props to Canelo for having that much respect for Gennady Golovkin to where now we can say he looks old. I think put Steve Rose in front of Gennady Golovkin again, and I think Gennady Golovkin would stop him late. Steve Rose was looking good early, but Gennady Golovkin would come on because he wouldn't have respect for the puncher power. I think we underestimate Canelo's puncher power. It does make Gennady Golovkin, act respectful in the ring, right? So props for that. Now, like I said, fight's lackluster, and here's my second point in this video. Canelo's fighting John Ryder next. I've been saying this, since John Ryder beat Daniel Jacobs, right? Because John Ryder did not beat Daniel Jacobs, and I'm saying it with an attitude now because I just looked at it again, right? He didn't beat Daniel Jacobs. Matter of fact, first 6 rounds were whitewashed. He lost totally, Ryder. Then 7, he came on, but I still wouldn't give him the round. You could possibly give him a tie at 7, but not a win. Then at 8, I think Ryder won. Then 9, 10, 11, and 12 were closer rounds, right? But the crowd was going for Ryder. Didn't mean he was winning the rounds. I think Daniel Jacobs wasn't outboxing anymore, was, staying in there with him where John Ryder's strength was, and it might have made you believe that he was coming on, but there was no knockdowns, there was nobody hurt, and if the first 6 rounds were gone, then John Ryder would have to win 7 through 12, and that did not happen. Now, what bothered me about that fight the most was a week later, Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor fought, and everybody was outraged, right? The only one who said on that night in Britain that John Ryder lost and that they robbed Daniel Jacobs was Gabe Rosado. It was like, he was the commentator. He was like, I don't know what to say, but Jacobs was robbed. Right? And he was. You don't give a guy a fight like that because that fight was an eliminator. Hence, Canelo's going to fight John Ryder next. Because Canelo, let's make sure, there's a long list of whatever. Now, remember, that was a WBA eliminator. Now, WBA has a regular champion, which Canelo has to fight actually normally, and that would be David Morrell. But David Morrell is on that list of people that Canelo's not going to fight. Now, let's go through that list before we talk about John Ryder. Canelo ain't fighting Charlo and Andrade, right? If he would have, he's had since 2013 to do that. They've been champions in the same division. One of them was it was his champion. Canelo was Andrade's mandatory. Canelo could have fought Andrade at 164 undisputed, which nobody talked about. Both Charlos were champions at 154. Canelo could have fought them, didn't do it then. At 160, it's the same thing. When Charlo became Canelo's mandatory, that's when we got this franchise titles, which is telling you it's about 2 years ago, right? So you got in the 160, he's not fighting either one of those. 168, he's not fighting Andrade or Charlo there either. Then he's not fighting any Mexicans, right? So that's even though David Benavidez is not a Mexican, right? He's just Mexican, got some in him. He's got Ecuadorian in him. and American. He's an American. So I don't even know why that's not happened. That's the fight Canelo should have to fight at 168 because actually his undisputed status has an asterisk next to it. The lineal champ, is David Benavidez. To this day. No one says that though. Like they remember they was using that so much with Tyson Fury, but when it comes to David Benavidez, ain't nobody never says that word at all. Like it don't mean as much as it did with Tyson Fury. Why would that be? So that's what that is. So, and if we go up to light heavyweight, Canelo's not fighting Bivol again, because if Bivol loses to Gilbert Ramirez, he's not fighting him, right? And if he wins, we know he ain't fighting him. Canelo don't come fight nobody off their best wins. Who would do that? And that would be, if Bivol beats Gilberto Ramirez, to me, that would be his best win. To you guys, his best win would be with Canelo. But I think we can both agree and meet at the point where it's a big win, right? So, huge win. Canelo ain't fighting him. Canelo ain't never fighting Beterbiev. You see what I'm saying? So at 175 pounds, there's no Gilberto Ramirez, no Bivol, or no Beterbiev. Those are the top three, right? So when you're looking at all that, who the hell are you going to fight? He's going to probably stay. He's not going to 160 no anymore. So at 168, he's mandatory is going to be the winner between Zach Parker and Demetrius Andrade. He's praying that it's Zach Parker, right? But if it's Demetrius Andrade, he's going to be the mandatory. Benavidez is his mandatory for the WBC. WBO would be Andrade. WBA is David Morrell. So why? Who else is left? Just the guy who won the Eliminator. They didn't say Daniel Jacobs won, which he did. So they gave it to your boy. And so that's who Canelo is going to fight. It will be John Ryder, right? Watch what I tell you. I've been saying this for a while. I know it's a little cynical, but hey, it's what it is. Somebody even just asked him about Benavidez. He got upset. So Canelo is going to be looking for the John Ryder. And here's another reason I know. Daniel Jacobs was calling a fight on the zone, right? No one asked Daniel Jacobs what happened on the John Ryder fight. Daniel Jacobs never complained. That's weird. That's weird because Daniel Jacobs was robbed more than Catterall was robbed against Josh Taylor. Definitely. And it was just a week apart, which is, I'm like, wait a minute. So we got outrage for Catterall, but none at all for Danny Jacobs? Yeah, because John Ryder is the next guy Canelo gonna fight. Watch what I tell you. Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.